Hi guys, Matt V's Movies back for another video, and today is another chat video, and it's about the news of another electronics manufacturer, pulling out of the sort of Blu-ray market. So what does this mean for us as collectors? Let's find out today on the channel. Okay, so yeah, another piece of news has come out recently that the manufacturer Pioneer is pulling out of the optical drive business. So I'm going to read you a small article which came across, and it goes like this. A few days ago, Pioneer announced that they were quitting one of their businesses. It was a small news item, only released in Japan. It was so easy to miss it, and if you did see it, there's a fair chance its coverage misinterpreted the news. It was not about 4K Ultra Blu-ray disc hardware business. It was about the business of optical discs drives for PCs, ODDs that can read and write or burn formats, including CD rewritable, DVD writable, Blu-ray rewritable, and in some cases they also read BDMs, commonly known as Ultra HD discs. A similar confusion arose a few months earlier when Sony made a similar announcement. In their case, it was about quitting the business for recordable media, which led to lots of coverage dooming the physical media market. But that really wasn't what was at stake. Sure, the movie disc market is in decline, we do know this, but neither the Pioneer nor the Sony announcement was directly related to that. These are consequences of the fact that very few people nowadays use discs to store files, make backups, or even record audio/video discs to play. So they are kind of getting out of the market for producing these drives. Now I know Pioneer, not really a company that sort of making the players anymore. They did do back in the day. But again, it's another sign, unfortunately, that companies are kind of moving away from recordable formats, optical disc. It's sadly on the way out. I think we all know this. And I think for physical media collectors, we have to have the reality that fewer and fewer of these manufacturers are going to be producing the players. Now you could say the argument with vinyl, well, vinyl's come back, that's going really strong. It's going to be the same for DVD, Blu-ray and 4K. Not necessarily. Vinyl is a very different technology to optical discs. Optical discs are very much almost run like computer programs in a way, and they the technology needs to be there for those optical discs to be read. Now if manufacturers are getting out of the market for producing the players, then what do we have left? The second-hand market. Now with 4K and Blu-ray, there are sort of online things that can be used, firmware updates and this kind of thing. So even DVD wasn't quite as sort of affected by this as Blu-ray and 4K. So the technology will move on, and in the future could Blu-ray and 4Ks be playable. I think we've been saying this for some time. I'm not saying that physical media is going away next year, but 5 to 10 years down the line, will any players be made? We don't know, but signs are that it's not looking great, because every now and again over the last couple of years, even the last few months, The last time we heard this was Sony with their stopping recordable discs. You know, unfortunately, the writing's on the wall for physical media. I don't think it's going to be too long before the likes of maybe Sony and Panasonic kind of decide that it's time to give up on the manufacturing of these players. Yes, there are a lot of sort of boutique labels producing some really nice editions. Apparently Warner Brothers are committed for the next couple of years to be producing a lot of their titles, sort of the Clint Eastwood films, and that's great to hear. You know, that there's still going to be certainly in the next couple of years still a lot of new titles coming out, but we have to think a bit further than this. You know, we're sort of halfway through this decade now. Could we see, you know, it lasting until the end of the decade? I think so. I think maybe we get to 2030, but 2030 and beyond, I'm really not sure whether we're going to see physical media continuing to be produced. You know, it's going to, I think you're going to see a decline in numbers as time goes on, sadly. So maybe it's time for us to sort of buy backup players, you know, so we can still watch our physical media. Hopefully the technology will still be there to be able to play the discs even on the current players, as long as the firmware works. You know, if there's no firmware updates and you're unable to play the discs, then essentially you just got a coaster, haven't you? Like I say, not so much with DVDs. I don't see, as long as you've got a DVD player, you should be able to play the discs, because they don't have the sort of interactive stuff on there or the firmware requirements that certainly Blu-ray and 4K discs sometimes require. So yeah, sadly, I think you know, another nail in the coffin for the sort of physical media. You know, we don't want to see it go away, and but yeah, not great news, is it, that this is sort of coming along. Another manufacturer sort of getting out of this sort of electronic space, but technology moves on. Streaming, digital is the way forward, whether we like it or not. You know, and unfortunately that's life. But so yeah, maybe get some backup players so at least we can still enjoy what we've got. Like I say, you know, in the next few years, I'm sure we'll still be seeing some really good titles coming through, but I can't honestly see there being another physical media format after 4K. I think 4K is the end for physical media, really. But it's been a great run for the last 40 odd years. You know, we've had some great formats, some wonderful editions being produced at the moment, and yeah, so that's the news, guys. Stick down in the comments what you think about this. I know I've mentioned this before about the players, you know, when they stop being produced, what happens, and this is kind of giving us another indication that that's going to be coming our way in the next even year or 2 years, you know, with maybe more companies sort of exiting the market, shall we say. Please give the video a thumbs up. That really does help out the channel. Tells YouTube you like these sorts of videos, and that encourages me to create more content for you to enjoy. We'll stick a QR code as well, so if you're watching this on the television and you want to subscribe, just pop your phone up and scan the QR code and you'll be able to subscribe to the channel that way. And if you're watching it on a tablet or on your computer, yeah, just subscribe in the usual way. There's a wealth of playlists on the channel, so go and check out at your leisure. Other videos all about action, sci-fi, martial arts, a little bit of horror. You know, there's plenty on the channel for you to go and have a look at. And yeah, all I can say is thanks ever so much for watching the video. Take care. See you next time.